Hello, welcome to another episode of Camposol Through Time. Around 40 years ago, an event occurred involving a family near Camposol. A lorry crash and a missing child. Unexplained to this day. Now, to help us understand more, in the studio with me is our very own historian and time traveller, Antonio Hernandez Benitez. Antonio, we've got a family, a lorry, a crash and a missing child. Sounds very complicated.
Well, it is, actually it is.
Whereabouts, for a start, you say near Camposol, whereabouts are these people from?
Los Cánovas.
Oh, so very close then.
Very close. It's actually probably the closer village, or one of the closer villages of Camposol.
Okay, so the lorry was from Los Cánovas?
From Los Cánovas.
And then was going where?
To the north of Spain, actually it was going to Bilbao.
Why is that? Why is it?
It's the capital of the Basque Country, okay, and it's a very important area for industry.
And the lorry driver himself, tell us about him a little bit more.
Well, he was the father of the child, and he used to do always the same route, the same trip. It was from Cartagena, from the industry of Cartagena, where they used to produce, or they're still producing, sulfuric acid, and he used to transport this very dangerous acid to the north of Spain, to a different type of industry over there. And I think they used to use it for batteries and stuff like that in those days. Nowadays, probably different, no? But he used to do always the same trip.
So this was his regular job?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, so, and he lived in Los Cánovas. What sort of lifestyle did he have?
Well, he was a lorry driver, but he was quite wealthy. I mean, he used to have a quite large house with the only swimming pool in the village. He used to have it in the 80s, the only swimming pool. Actually, he used to have a nice car as well for those days, for the standards of those days, you know, and they didn't have any economical issues, really.
So he's taking his family on holiday, is it? Up north, but he's doing a delivery at the same time?
Exactly.
Right, okay, so what happened?
Well, they thought actually it would be nice to have as a holiday, you know, to go to the north of Spain and spend some days over there, you know, just to travel around the Basque Country and probably France as well, and to see just the north of Spain with his wife and his son. But on the way to the travel, to the destination, actually in the near Madrid area, they actually crashed and died, he and his wife.
Right. And the child?
Is missing. No evidences at all about the child.
So they crashed. How did the crash come about?
Well, this is where the history getting very complicated. In the early morning, around 6 in the morning, something like that, they stop for a breakfast, okay, and it's actually in the north of Madrid, really, and they actually have a normal breakfast, okay, and then they carry on the journey, and actually going down a big hill or big mountain in Madrid, which is called Somosierra. He will be overspeeding. He will be over 110 kilometers per hour.
For a lorry, that's...
For a lorry, it's a lot.
Fast, yes.
It's a lot. And especially a lorry in the 80s as well. And he will stop in 13 kilometers. He will stop 12 times. And no more than 30 seconds every time that he used to stop.
So before the crash, for half an hour, he was stopping...
Stopping and going on, overspeeding,
stopping for 30
on.
seconds. Exactly. And then going faster, and then stopping for 30 seconds. And they get all this from the taco in the day, wasn't
Exactly.
it? Yeah. So they knew that he was stopping and starting before the crash.
Exactly. And then he couldn't control the lorry.
Why was he stopping and starting?
No one knows.
Was he checking the brakes?
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, I assume no, because the lorry was, before the journey, I mean, the lorry was checked already in a garage, and they checked everything. The lorry was fine. The engine was fine, the brakes were fine, the tires were fine, everything was okay to make the lorry, the trip. But some people, they think is probably perhaps he was trying he was like racing and trying to get in, to stop a different car, or probably a car was trying to stop the lorry.
Right, okay. And when you have a crash and you've got a lorry full of sulfuric acid, this is bad news.
Well,
this is,
yes.
And sort of, it could cause a lot of problems. I mean, was everybody covered in acid? Was it sort of like...
Well, actually, in those days, the emergency services, actually, they arrived quite quick, into the area because it was a kind of acid which is especially very dangerous for the environmental, and they found actually they were able, the police actually, to rescue 2 bodies from the acid. So they were think about the acid, this type of acid is going to destroy everything, a part of plastic or bones or hair. It's the only thing that actually can survive to the acid. So they are able the police to rescue those 2 bodies that actually they died in the accident, and they actually notified to the family that the relatives, they were there. And it's when the grandmother actually is asking to the police, and where is the child? The police didn't know that actually.
So they said, we've got your son and daughter-in-law or whatever it was there, and they notified them that they died in a crash.
Exactly.
And then that was the end of the conversation. The grandmother said, what about
Where's
the
the
child? Yeah.
So it's automatically the police, they make a big research all around the lorry, all around the area of the lorry, even in the mountains, plenty of different volunteers for different days. They were looking for where is the child, because there were plenty of different theories. They thought that perhaps in the crash, because of the speed, probably the child was flying away from the lorry or whatever, but they couldn't find it. They couldn't find no evidences at all. The only thing that they found in the lorry was one shoe and clothes that actually of the child that actually confirmed that he was in the lorry. But there is nothing, no evidences about the body of the child.
So, who were the last people to see them all together then?
Well, this is another mystery, another thing which it makes more difficult even to find out the truth of what happened over there, because the last person who saw the complete family alive, it was a waiter that actually served the breakfast to them. And actually he died like 1 week or a few days before, a few days after the traffic accident. He actually died in another accident.
Okay.
And then there were some witnesses in the accident. Right after the accident happened, someone stopped and they saw a white van stopping with 3 persons dressed in white. They looked like doctors, a man and 2 women. And they went inside the lorry, they took something from the lorry, put it inside the van and ran away.
But nobody saw what it was they took?
Exactly, no. Nothing, because especially this type of acid as well, it generates some kind of fog around the area, so they couldn't see really what was happening or anything like that. So they saw just a white van taking something and disappeared.
So what they took out of the lorry could be the child? Is that what's just thought?
Could be the child. Actually, the police
initially.
This is the problem, because the police initially they thought that could be the child. So they were looking. In those days, it was a Nissan Vanette. It was the brand and the model of the white van. There were thousands of them in Spain, because in those days actually this Nissan Vanette, it was made in Spain.
Right.
Okay, so there were thousands of them. So it took quite a long time to contact majority of the owners to confirm where they were and so on. And then, meanwhile, they found actually in one of the containers of the lorry, they had 3 containers where they used to have the acid. One of them, it was empty. There was no acid. And they found a blanket with some remains of heroin.
Of what? Heroin?
Heroin.
Okay.
So then is where the police started to think like perhaps this van didn't take the child, actually they took the drugs. Okay, and this is where it's getting very complicated, because part of the family, they think, they say like he was not dealing with drugs, he was not doing anything with drugs. Some other people, they say like perhaps he was doing this type of job, covering, well, he was transporting drugs and he wanted to stop doing that. That's why he took the family with him. And some other people, they say like perhaps they were forcing him to do this job. And that's why they took the child, and that's why he was trying to rescue his child, and that's why he was over speeding with the lorry and stopping and all this. So at the moment, no one knows what happened in the last few hours of the accident.
To this day?
Exactly.
Yet he had a nice swimming pool, a nice house, a nice car.
For those days, it was a nice place, actually, very nice place.
And Los Canovas is only around the corner. How do you know so much about this, by the way?
Well, because I used to live in Los Canovas, and I used to go to the school with Juan Pedro, was the name of the child. He was 2 years older than me.
You went to the same school?
Oh yes, we used to go to the same school. Obviously, we used to play all the children of the village all together, and we knew each other.
So how did that affect the people of the village then at the time?
Well, actually, it did affect quite seriously to the life of the village, because you think about the villages all around here, they were always very quiet and very tranquil, and suddenly you have something like no one can explain, right? And then you have, because it was in all the news, and it was in all the newspapers, in all the magazines, it was in all, during many years, on the radio, on the television, there were plenty of weird people arriving to the village. People who were mediums, to say like they have a contact with the child and the child was in a particular location. Some people asking for some money, saying like they knew where the child was and they wanted to get some money for that. Some other just weird people just going around the village with the cars. I remember when I was a child, we were always a little bit scared of foreigners coming. No, foreigners, what I mean is like people who were not from the village.
Not from the village, foreigners,
Okay.
yeah.
Arriving with cars, and they were like just going around, you know, and very suspicious, you know, and no one knows why, if they were working for a newspaper or if they were just strange people.
Yeah.
So it was quite normal to find all these type of people, especially at the end of the 80s.
And how old were you at the time? You were 8, were you?
8.
You were 8. How long did this go on for, with this sort of the attention coming to Las Canoas?
Well, during quite a few years, actually. It's actually at the end of the 90s where you started not to see things on the television often. Actually, for many years it was on the television. There were plenty of different programs that actually they did only for this case, trying to find out the truth and so on. Plenty of different investigations. And as I say, like during many years, actually once a year somehow we always try to keep this memory alive. Is once a year always is going to be nowadays in the regional newspapers.
Yeah,
always
just
appear
to keep it...
to try not to forget that this child is missing.
And missing, not dead.
Well, we wanted to think
We
he's missing.
Yeah, of course.
Even if it's long time and officially, after 20 years of someone is missing and there is no evidences of the person, officially is considered dead in Spain, no? And it's considered dead, and it's quite sad because the family, they make a really big effort. Actually, they were traveling all around Spain, Portugal, south of France as well. Every time that someone was ringing on their telephone saying like, I saw the child in Alicante, they used to drive to Alicante to try to check if it was true or not.
Yeah.
But unfortunately it was not true in majority of the times.
This is for the grandparents, was it, looking?
Yes, and as well different other relatives
Yeah.
of the family.
Yeah.
Okay, so nowadays, unfortunately, well, majority of them, they pass away, and they couldn't find actually what happened.
And it's so close to you as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's part of my childhood.
Thanks for sharing it with us.
Thank you.
Cheers, Antonio. Fascinating. That's it for today. Thanks so much for watching Camposol TV, and we'll be here the same time next week with another episode of Camposol Through Time. Thank you. Bye-bye.